Since 1946, Murphy's Builder Supply has been serving the folks of Jessup, Wayne, and surrounding counties with quality products and knowledgeable service. Matter of fact, they feel they sell service first to make sure you get exactly what you need for your home improvement projects. And with each employee at Murphy's being there for 10 years or more, you know you're talking with someone with the experience to help you with building supplies, tools, paint, and all the things you need from a full-service hardware store. The best choice in home improvement is Murphy's Builder Supply, 156 Northeast Broad Street, Jessup.
Damon's Famous Fingers and Wings restaurant in Jessup is now open for business, practicing social distancing, but still serving that great food that Damon's is famous for. Come inside or come through the drive-thru, but Damon's is open inside and welcomes back its customers. The menu's the same, the service is fast, and the food is fantastic, and the sauces remain the same, mild, wild, insane, or inferno. The number is the same, 588-WING, 588-9464. Damon's Restaurant on West Cherry Street in Jessup. Dining room now open for business. Come on in and enjoy a great meal today.
A bank that puts people first. First Southern Bank, investing in you since 1907. Serving Jessup, Patterson, and Waycross. A true community bank led by experienced neighborhood bankers that live and work in our community. Offering competitive loan options for commercial and consumer clients. Stop by the Jessup branch and meet branch manager Mandy Yeomans and her fantastic team. Call 912-810-1540. Let First Southern Bank be your bank of choice. First Southern Bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
8 o'clock here at WIFO-FM, Jessup, Big Dog Country, in time for the world-famous Butch and Bob Show. Brought to you by Damon's Famous Fingers and Wings, Murphy Builder Supply, and First Southern Bank.
And good morning, everyone. On the phone with us is the head coach of Richmond Hill Wildcats, Coach Matt Lazotte, as Wayne County's headed over to Richmond Hill for a big football game tonight. Coach, appreciate you being here on the world-famous Butch and Bob Show.
Man, listen, guys, I'm fired up. Thank you. Thanks for having me on. How's everybody doing?
Everybody's doing good. Again, I feel like I'm going back in a time capsule. In the old days, the Wayne County Touchdown Club used to invite the opposing coach to the club, and Jim Bowie, the sheriff, would always get up and ask the first question, Coach, what can we expect from your football team? So I'm going to play my Jim Bowie role and ask you, what can we expect from the Richmond Hill Wildcats tonight?
Well, you forgot to mention I'm a former Wayne County Yellow Jacket.
That's true.
I maybe have a current role, but I am a former Wayne County.
Yeah, I think most people know that. So I just assumed everybody knew that.
Well, no, we're just excited, man. I tell you, it's opportunity number 3 for these guys to go play. I was really looking forward to our JV game playing against Wayne County this Thursday that got canceled, and we're just trying to play games, Bob. And you and I have spoken briefly on the phone and talked about some stuff, and 2020 is different than anything else. We got to put everything aside and just try to get these guys on the field, get them playing, having a good time. They've worked too hard to not deserve opportunities to get out there and just show off what they've done, good and bad. It doesn't matter. They just deserve the opportunity. And tonight, opportunity number 3 for us and Wayne County, and I feel very good about it. A high quality team coming in. We've had two really good games to open the season, and I expect the third to be just as good.
Wayne County, we've been following them all year. Like what Coach Cribb said, it's been a really strange year. No scrimmages, no 7-on-7s. So, how have you all handled the coronavirus thing over there? And if you all had anybody test positive, or how's it gone over in Richmond Hill?
Well, there have been cases here and there, and it's been more close contact than everything, because we've put a lot of the responsibility on the players to do right. If it matters to you, if this season matters, then we're counting on them to make good decisions, and that's what it boils down to. But, this season, you can look back and it's been different. There's no doubt that it's been different, but has it been bad different? That's the question I ask everybody. I was like, has it really been bad? Because I don't think so. I think it's been great. I think it's forced me to communicate with my assistant coaches at a level that's higher than it's ever been. It's forced assistant coaches to take on roles and communicate with our players and instruct our players better than they've ever had to do in the past. A lot of times when you can group everybody together into one, coaches and players can get lost in the mix sometimes. But with coronavirus and the regulations that Dr. Hines put in place, it's one of those things where we utilized it to grow our team, to grow our program, to build our future. And I tell you, I may not go back to the old ways of doing things during the summertime. You know, I feel like we've been able to build relationships with our players and get on a different level of communication than we've ever been. And but has it been different? Yes, but it's been good different. It's been something that we've utilized to try to make lemonade every single day.
Well, again, all the tickets for this week have been online, so do we have any idea how the ticket sales have gone for this ball game?
You know what? I'm waiting on a text message from Stacy Bennett. He's our assistant athletic director, former baseball coach. You're familiar with him, and he. I'm waiting on a text message back from him to see where we're at. I expect it to be at capacity. So I think it's going to be a great night for football. I know our community is excited. I know y'all are always excited to go on a Friday night and check it out. And I think the atmosphere is going to be exactly what you want on a Friday night in the fall.
Yeah, we definitely travel well, but there's going to be no tickets available at the game tonight. Is that correct? I just want to make that clear because the same thing over last week against Pierce County. And like I said, we try to stress that to people. You have to have your ticket online before you get there.
Correct, and they're not going to do anything at the gate. But at the gate, they will have some stuff that you can scan, a QR code that you can scan with your phone that takes you to the place to purchase a ticket should there be tickets available. So they do try to communicate that as much as possible at the gate and give as many options without actually the exchange of money through the gate sales. So I think it's a unique time, unique situation, and I know every system right now is trying to come up with the right solution on how to handle this, and this is one that we've bought into. We did an inter squad scrimmage and did a little trial run with this, and it worked tremendously. It was extremely seamless getting into the game. Lines were shorter than they've ever been. We've changed the way that we enter into our stadium to cut down on congestion. We've opened another gate and moved our pass gate. So trying to do a lot of things to cut down on the amount of crowds before they can get in the stands and cheer on the teams.
Well, what's unique about this season is the Georgia High School Association has allowed every school system to come up with their own policy, own way of handling their home stadium. So some are doing concessions, some are not doing concessions, some are allowing bans, some are not. So what about your situation? Will there be concessions available tonight at the game for people coming over there?
There sure will be, and they're going to have. I believe they're referring to it as a restaurant style menu where they're going to try to have the least amount of prep as possible for items. You know me, I'm a fan of Coca-Cola and blow pops, of course, but I'm sure they're going to have plenty of those. So but yeah, I think it's going to be just fine. I've seen them all week working in the concession stand to prepare and be ready to go.
Well, again, tell us a little bit about your football team. Again, this team was one game away from playing for a state championship. You got a lot of players back. You had a tough game last week against Ware County, went back and forth, but everybody knows the talent of Thomas Castellanos and understand he was a handful for your team. But tell us about your football team, what we can expect.
Well, I'll tell you, one thing that a fundamental flaw of the Richmond Hill football team when I got here back in 2015 was physical strength and capacity, and we everything that we do is, football. Your physical prowess determines your success in football, and so we put a premium on building that and measuring that and tracking that very specifically throughout our players' careers, and we've got a senior class that's been able to utilize a lot of the things that we've been able to do over the last 4 years of their career to grow our program. And it's been baby steps. They didn't know what it was like to run a top-notch football program, and it's been very accommodating along the way to grow and build this thing. But we do return a lot of guys and have returned a lot of guys off of the state semifinal team, and that super proud of our guys for the work and dedication that they put into the off season. When they showed back up in June, we were basically easing back into the process, engaging their conditioning and whatnot, and these guys didn't remain dormant over that period of time, and I was proud of them, and we were able to kind of get ahead of the curve as far as that's concerned. But we feel really good about our offensive and defensive lines. It's something that's been a weakness here in the past, and it goes back to what I was talking about before, the fundamental flaw in the I had one offensive lineman that bench pressed over 200 pounds when I got here, and that's crazy if you think about it. But we've got guys that have played a lot of snaps all over the field. We try to get guys involved early in our program in varsity special teams to get used to the lights and get used to making plays. We practice and coach those plays like they're 3rd and 8 offensive plays and goal line defensive plays. You know, we really put a lot of attention and detail into that, and it's meaningful for our guys. And so a lot of them, even though they played spot roles in the past, have played a good number of ball games. But the best part about this group is they've been very selfless. Let's take everything off the field and tell you about the team. We would have this past year, but the year before we did over 1,000 hours of community service, various roles, and I was so proud of our guys for being selfless contributors in the community. And we ask a lot from our community to support us financially, to come to our games, and be moral support in the stands, and it's the least we can do giving back to them. And but that really defines this group. You know, they've been great teammates to each other, and it's increased that locker room cohesion because they've learned through the process of being selfless contributors in the community and how involved that they can be in helping uplift somebody during the day.
If you're just joining us, head football coach at the Richmond Hill Wildcats, Matt Lazotte, on the phone with us. You were very helpful. You sent us a roster. You also sent us itineraries and some recommendations on where, Wayne County fans love to come over there and eat before the game. So you got any recommendations on where they should eat?
Man, I tell you, good friends of mine, the Fabres, they've got as you're rolling into town, they got a barbecue joint, Smoking Pig, and I love to get up there and see those guys, we're loaded with places that support us. Papa's Pizza to go, they do a great job supporting our team. Huge variety of offerings, but you're going to pass by a lot of spots on 17 as you're rolling into Richmond Hill. But and every single one of them is part of the integral part of the community, and very supportive, not just of football, just of Richmond Hill in general. We got a small transient community with military population and whatnot. A lot of people work outside of Richmond Hill and leave during the day and come back in the evening, and so we've got a lot of entities that are extremely supportive and part of the winning team. But the Smoking Pigs and always a go-to favorite. The college coaches that roll through, they've grown to like going in there and getting that banana pudding. So I don't even have to tell them anymore. They just say, "All right, Coach, I'm done talking to you. I'm gonna go grab some barbecue and banana pudding." It's always fun.
Well, Richmond Hill as a community has really been booming over the last couple of years. A lot of people thought you might be in 7A, but you looked to move down to 6A. So how were you able to accomplish that?
Well, you take a look at, and it's not just football, and it is what it is with playing sports. But what we took a look at, and I think GHSA saw, was if we were to play region games in a region where we're traveling halfway, 3/4 of the way across the state on school nights, missing 3-hour travel time, missing seat time in class. What kind of impact is that going to have on our kids, on the education of our student athletes that are not only going through the process of being in a very difficult high school, but they're also participating in extracurriculars, and I think that had a lot to play with it. Just the closest school is an hour and a half in Camden County, and then you start to get up in the 2.5, 3 hours of the region that we would have played in Region 1. And football football, we're definitely behind the times as far as those guys are concerned. But as far as the other sports go, we would be extremely competitive. But is it all about that? You know, there's a reason that student athlete comes before. There's a reason that student comes before athlete and student athlete. You know, we got to think about these kids and the toll that the travel and the road would take on them. And I think that was a big factor in the decision.
As you mentioned, we're just blessed to be playing football. I saw a notice from the GHSA today. Robin Hines says that a team can't play a game during the regular season and has to forfeit a game. The region's going to have to determine how they play that out. But he says once the playoffs begin, if a team can't field a team for a playoff game, it's going to be simply just a forfeit, and the other team will just move on. So that's going to be an interesting situation as we progress through this season. So you got to hope your team stays healthy, because you can't field a team in a playoff game. They're going to say you're just out of luck.
Well, I tell you, I think September is the month for every school system. You know, I think you see a lot of school systems beginning to make decisions because they're being forced to. You know, and it's like, okay, put off. All right, now we got to make a decision, and they're making decisions. I think we both have very strong school systems, tremendous decision makers that are looking to create policy that does have the students' interest in mind and tries to keep them in the classroom. And I think everybody's going to get a little more comfortable with that as we go through the process, especially this month. You know, we're still brand new in this thing called school during COVID. So, you know, there's a lot to do with, that can change with the seat policy and close contact and looking at depth into that. And that, that's one of the things that I'm concerned. You know, when we started coming out with everything back in April and May about what potential policies could be, I started planning of, how can we minimize contact? Because if you think about it, let's say in the weight room, how engaged are these guys with each other in the weight room? And then you take a look at that and say, well, how can we differentiate to decrease that engagement as much as possible? And we've got it down to where our guys have close contact essentially for about a minute and a half to 2 minutes on most workouts. And that's just fact-based with the timing program that we use. And so we try to utilize our resources around here to cut down on that. But I think there's going to be a lot of factors that are taken into effect. Trying to keep these kids in the class. We've had a lot of kids. We gave the option to do online or face-to-face, and we've had a lot of kids come back. And it's been exciting to see that, kind of a sense of normalcy. And I think a lot of school systems are going to start to see that effect. And I think sooner than later, we're going to be back to somewhat of a normal thing. There are going to be things that are changed forever, but there's going to be a somewhat of normalcy when we go through it.
I had this conversation with Coach Cribb, with this coronavirus. He has them at practice and he can control them all that, but he has to constantly tell his kids, when you leave practice, to be smart, make smart decisions. And I guess you're having this same conversation with your team as well.
Absolutely. When it comes down to it, we can only control the things that we have control over. And I only have control over those guys when they're under my direction. When they leave, even our first block weight training class, when they leave and they go to second, third, and fourth block, they have to have a responsibility. And a lot of our guys have asked teachers to move them to be isolated in class. Their goals this semester are a little bit different than the civilian kids walking down the hallways. There's a little more at stake if they're in that 6 foot radius of being in close contact with somebody. So our guys have done that. It's been great to get the feedback from teachers. Even being able to teachers with multiple guys in class, being able to group those guys together. Because we're gonna do this together. We're gonna try to do this as a family and go through the process and just see where the chips fall. But we try to control as much as we can. But a lot of these guys, they're going to do what they want to do when they want to do it. We just got to make sure that they understand that every decision that they make over these next few months is going to have some sort of consequence, and that consequence isn't always negative. but it potentially could be.
Hurricane Sally's brought a lot of rain to the area. Again, our field drains pretty well. What about your field? What kind of conditions will we see tonight on the football field?
Well, I give you a little. So we went out there after school yesterday for practice, and we did it on the game field, and it was a little squishy. Of course, we got dumped on right there before school was out, and then the sun came out, wind was blowing. Our ninth grade team was playing Ware that night, and the field was almost completely dry. So we've got a tremendous service. We played MLK in the first round last year in a ryegrass downpour, and tracking was pretty stinking good, and so I think we're going to be fine. I think the little sunny's going to come out, dry things up. We have good wind, and I think it's going to be a great track for the night.
This was a game we were looking forward to last year, but unfortunately got canceled. But this will be a fun game tonight. The fans are looking forward to it. Like I said, I guess you get a pretty good home crowd. Is the Wildcat Nation supporting the team pretty good over the last couple of years since you're winning?
Very, very supportive, and I think they started seeing what we've been trying to do as a program and the involvement and the engagement. We created the motto, "Build the Hill," as a football team, but it's not about football. It's about the community, bringing the community together, and the tremendous support that we've had. Even the first 2 weeks playing away, we had our side of the stands were pretty stinking full both weeks, and those aren't the closest of trips. Especially Ware County, and so we're excited. We're excited about the product that we put out, and representing our community each time we step on the field. We're connected at the hip with them, and I feel like they feel the same way.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you being here on the show. Again, our fans are looking forward to tonight's game, 7:30 kickoff. I'm sure a lot of people will be heading over there early to find a place to eat. So we look forward to seeing you tonight at the football game. Appreciate you being here on the World Famous Butch and Bob Show, and should be a fun game tonight. Wayne County, Richmond Hill. First time we played in several years, so should be a fun ball game.
It's going to be fun, Bob. I appreciate you and look forward to seeing you tonight. And I'll finish off the way I always do, build the hill. Thank you very much.
I got to ask you one final question before you go. How bad you missing those sugar and spice donuts on Saturday morning?
Man, you know. you know. But I'm going to say
I used to be a regular at our breakfast club, but, you're not there no more.
Man, my daughter Lucy used to go love and play in the fountain while we were getting donuts.
There you go.
I'd bring her home and she'd be soaking wet. My wife would be like, "What did y'all just do?" And I went and got donuts, But man, but I sure do miss that place. I get jealous of my in-laws. I've got some nieces and nephews down in St. Simons, and my nephews play some travel ball and stuff, and so they roll through Jessup on Saturday morning sometimes, and they'll pick up donuts and send me a picture. And sometimes my heart drops a little bit. Sometimes I drop down on a knee, and I just say, man, I just miss it. And so you just hit a soft spot right before I got off. Man.
There you go. You can't beat those.
Back to tears right now.
There you go. Well, Coach, again, appreciate the roster. Again, appreciate everything you sent us, and we'll look forward to seeing you tonight. And best of luck, and should be a fun ball game. And again, thanks for being here on the show.
No, thank you, Bob.
Okay, again, we'll be back to wrap up the Butch and Bob Show right after this.
And then along came Walker Jones.